They used me to get fame, then dumped me. If there was an award for being unnoticed, I would have won it every year. I was that quiet junior who hovered at the edge of friend groups, the face people recognized but couldn't name. Hallways were rivers of chatter, and I was always the rock no one bothered to look at. Lunchtime was worse. Plastic tray, earbuds, pretending to text so the loneliness didn't look so obvious. My only escape was my camera. Filmmaking wasn't just a hobby, it was therapy with better lighting. I'd spend weekends editing random clips in my room, my cat attacking shoelaces, my brother sleep talking, even the way rain trailed down our old windows. I liked telling stories no one asked for because at least in videos people listen. Everything changed after one stupid little TikTok. I posted a short skit about online classes, just me lip syncing to my teacher's awkward silence after she realized she wasn't muted. It was meant for my 5 mutual friends, but overnight it exploded. Not millions of likes or anything cinematic, just enough to make my notifications buzz for the first time ever. By Monday, people I'd barely spoken to were quoting it in the hallway. Even the cool kids laughed when they saw me, and for once it wasn't at me, it was because of me. I told myself not to overthink it, but hope is sneaky like that. Attention felt like sunlight after years underground. Then came the moment that tilted my whole world. After class, Sienna, the queen of our school's elite trio, called out my name. Actual Sienna Rivera with perfect hair and that easy confidence that made everyone orbit her. She smiled and said, "You're hilarious, Lily. We should totally collab sometime." Behind her stood Noah, the golden boy with a camera of his own, and Tara, all sparkle and eyeliner. They looked at me like I'd suddenly materialized from dust. I laughed awkwardly, pretending it didn't matter, but inside everything cracked open. They'd noticed asterisk me. For someone invisible, it felt like destiny. Looking back now, I wish I'd recognized that moment for what it really was, not an invitation, but an audition. Because when people like Sienna notice nobodies like me, it's rarely because they want to share the spotlight. More often, they just need someone to hold the camera. The next morning, Sienna and her entourage actually sat beside me at lunch. I nearly dropped my drink. Everyone stared as if some glitch had occurred in the school's social algorithm. Sienna made it look effortless, tossing her hair back while saying, "We seriously loved your editing, Lily. You've got such a vibe." Noah nodded, adding, "Yeah, your timing, the cuts, the humor, it's pro level." Tara smiled like she was auditioning for a toothpaste commercial. I didn't know what to do with their sudden warmth, so I nervously laughed through the entire conversation. Then came Sienna's pitch. "So," she began, "we're starting a new TikTok series, funny, edgy, like influencer meets mockumentary. We need someone who actually knows how to edit, not just slap on filters. You'd be perfect. It'd help you grow too." The word asterisk perfect snagged in my chest. I said yes before my brain had the chance to be cautious. Next thing I knew, I was in Noah's garage turned creative studio, surrounded by tripods, LED lights, and the scent of instant ramen. We filmed for hours, mostly jokes, challenges, dance bits, anything that fueled digital dopamine. Our first few collabs hit big. Each video racked up thousands of views, way beyond anything I'd done solo. Comments flooded in, "Love this group, OMG Sienna's crew slays, who edits these? They're fire." The others never answered that last question, just laughed and moved on. Still, I told myself credit didn't matter. Being seen asterisk with them was enough. Soon they started calling me their secret weapon. It sounded cool, like I was part of some mission. I provided the cameras, editing software, and creative ideas. They provided faces that the algorithm loved. It worked almost too well. Longer hours, daily posts, brand DMs trickling in. Sienna made group chats to coordinate collabs, which mostly meant her giving orders. "Can you just fix that awkward angle?" she'd text. Or, "Make me pop more, I look washed." I didn't mind, not at first. I was finally part of the in crowd. Also, Noah kept complimenting my work, saying, "You're the real MVP, Lily." That tiny phrase replayed in my head every night like a song. Still, small warning signs flickered. They used my editing laptop and forgot to return cables. Sienna would post clips without tagging me, saying, "Tags mess with engagement." Tara borrowed my mic and accidentally broke it. But each time I tried to feel upset, Sienna's compliments smoothed over the cracks. "You're basically one of us now," she said once, linking her arm through mine as we walked across campus. I smiled, swallowing the unease. Because if belonging came with fine print, I wasn't ready to read it yet. It's wild how quickly your life can shift from background noise to highlight reel. One minute I was invisible, the next I was dodging phones in the hallway because classmates wanted me in their Snap stories. Every time Sienna's crew posted, my follower count climbed. I'd refresh my notifications obsessively, tiny hearts, comments, new DMs. It felt like catching sunlight in a bottle I'd been chasing for years. Weekends turned into filming marathons. Noah would pick me up blasting music from his convertible, Tara always half ready with lip gloss, Sienna already brainstorming how to make everything bigger, glossier. We filmed at beaches, diners, rooftops, every spot designed to look effortless but carefully choreographed. I handled every edit, every sound cue, every transition. Watching our goofy ideas transform into viral gold gave me a surge nothing else matched. That rush became addictive. I stopped noticing how grades slipped, how meals blurred into energy drinks, how my mom would knock just to remind me it was past midnight. Dad once said gently, "Lily, do any of these people actually know you?" I told him he didn't understand how teamwork worked online. Maybe I was really trying to convince myself. As the numbers climbed, Sienna's personality seemed to grow in proportion. She was the face, the one brands reached out to, the one reporters wanted to interview. Tara managed outfits, Noah shot footage when I couldn't. They all had visible roles while mine stayed tucked behind the camera lens. I convinced myself it was poetic. Directors don't need the spotlight, right? Then comments started popping up under our posts. "Who edits these vids? They're insane," or "The transitions go hard, props to the editor." Each time Sienna laughed it off. "We keep our process mysterious," she'd say in lives. lives, the others chuckled along. I played it cool, but deep down it chipped at something fragile. Still, the thrill of belonging drowned out the bruise of erasure. Invitations started rolling in: parties, influencer mixers, even a music video shoot where I accidentally brushed shoulders with a minor celebrity. For the first time, people I used to envy greeted me like an equal. At school, doors opened with flawless smiles. Teachers looked impressed instead of worried. My classmates whispered my name, not mockingly, but with intrigue. I told myself I'd made it. I was finally part of something glamorous, something that mattered. But glamour has a dangerous trick. It blinds you until you can't tell the difference between appreciation and possession. When Sienna started moving me out of the frame, cutting my cameos shorter, cropping me from thumbnails, I told myself it was fine, that visibility didn't define worth. Yet each time my face disappeared, a little piece of me did too. Still, I kept editing, perfecting every scene that erased me, thinking maybe invisibility could still count as success if I was the one directing it. Looking back, I see what I couldn't then. I wasn't climbing with them, I was carrying them. And the higher we rose, the smaller my name became. The first real fracture appeared when the sponsorship money arrived. I found out by accident browsing one of our analytics dashboards late at night and saw a payment big enough to make my jaw drop, sent straight to Sienna's name. I blinked, checked again. Nothing about group proceeds or shared revenue, just asterisk her. I tried not to panic. Maybe it was temporary. Maybe she'd handle distribution later. But 2 weeks passed, then 3, and my account remained stubbornly empty. Meanwhile, Sienna flaunted new shoes and a designer bag in every vlog. When I finally worked up the nerve to ask her, she smiled like I was a child misunderstanding adult business. "Oh, that," she said lightly, twisting her straw in an iced latte. "They pay me because it's under my influencer account. Don't worry, I'll sort it out." But sorting it out never happened. Every time I nudged, she brushed me off. Eventually, she dropped the pretense altogether. "Lily, relax," she snapped once. "We're doing you a favor just having you here. Think exposure, not payout." Exposure, the dreaded currency of dreamers too naive to ask for their worth. Noah and Tara went quiet during that conversation. They refused to meet my eyes. Tara just fiddled with her phone while Noah mumbled something about not wanting drama. It was like watching teammates evaporate mid-game. I tried to swallow my frustration, but it burned. It wasn't about money anymore, it was about respect. And Sienna made sure I got none. She started referring to me as asterisk the intern in lives, laughing it off as an inside joke. "Our little editing goblin," she'd giggle, while fans sent emojis of clapping hands and laughing faces. The joke spread. At school, people called me Director Goblin. Harmless on the surface, acid underneath. Each time I opened my phone, my face felt hotter, my throat tighter. The humiliation peaked one Friday when I joined their stream to talk about the latest video. I barely got a hi out before Sienna interrupted, smirking. "Lily, chill. You don't need to talk about asterisk technical stuff. People want to hear from the stars." The chat went wild with laughing reactions. My chest caved, my camera blinked off. Later that night, I sent her a message spilling everything. How unfair it felt, how much effort I gave. She responded with a single bubble, "You're overreacting. It's not that deep." That's when the disbelief finally cracked open into anger. For months, I had built their empire one pixel at a time, and they couldn't even spare a tag or a thank you. I thought about going public immediately, but fear held me hostage. Their fanbase adored them. Any complaint would sound like jealousy. Still, the anger simmered until I made a small post on my story. Funny how some people love teamwork until credits involve. Within minutes, Sienna texted, "Delete that." When I didn't respond, she screenshotted our messages and posted asterisk her asterisk version, painting me as ungrateful, accusing me of starting drama because of a tiny payment issue. Her followers flooded my comments, calling me bitter, delusional, irrelevant. I read every word even though I swore I wouldn't. Jealous wannabe, clout chaser, ungrateful freak. They stung not because they were original, but because they echoed every insecurity I'd spent years trying to outgrow. That night, I couldn't sleep. My phone buzzed endlessly, a digital mob outside my window. I kept thinking about how all I ever wanted was to belong, and how easily they'd turned that dream into ammunition. By dawn, one truth settled heavy in my chest. I wasn't part of their team. I was their tool, and the moment I stopped making them shine, they'd throw me away. The next time I tried logging into our shared account, access denied. Password changed. Just like that, I was erased. No text, no warning, just digital amputation. When I scrolled through the profile, something worse hit me. My name was gone. Old videos where I'd been tagged, red-idled, captions rewrit, comments mentioning me mysteriously vanished. Sienna had cleaned house like I'd never existed. I stared at the screen for minutes, numb. Weeks of sleepless editing, thumbnails, campaign scripts, all rewritten history now. The realization burned hotter when I saw a new post, celebrating our team's anniversary asterisk, a montage I had edited myself, my voice faintly audible behind their laughter. The caption read, "To the three of us, stronger than ever. 3, not 4. I confronted Noah in the hallway the next day. He looked guilty, eyes darting everywhere but at me. "Sienna said it was for consistency," he muttered, "like to clean our brand image." "Brand image?" I snapped. "I'm a person, not a watermark." He didn't answer. He just walked away, shame shrinking his shoulders. The fallout spread fast. My classmates whispered again, but this time not with admiration, pity, disbelief, gossip. Some said said I'd been lying the whole time, claiming I'd worked with them to look cool. Others acted like the truth never existed because it wasn't on their screens anymore. Emails to brands I'd once helped manage went unanswered. My DMs filled with question marks, mocking comments, people calling me desperate for clout. I tried to post proof bits of old drafts, clips showing my edits, but even that backfired. Sienna's followers flooded in, accusing me of faking receipts. The more I tried to defend myself, the more pathetic I looked. I spiraled, days blurred into nights filled with anxious scrolling, my brain chasing validation that wasn't coming. I barely slept. I barely recognized myself. It felt like the entire world had decided my absence was more convenient than my truth. Then one night, while digging through my cloud storage, I found it, a collection of auto-save project files. Hundreds of clips stamped with timestamps, original cuts, raw footage, voice notes. I'd kept everything without realizing it. Each file whispered the same message: you were there. My hands trembled as I clicked through evidence of every sleepless night, every laugh recorded, every plan sketched out in our group chat. Proof. For the first time in weeks, my pulse steadied. The fog of humiliation thinned, replaced with something sharper, brighter. They'd taken my credit, but not my truth, and I suddenly knew exactly what to do with it. When people talk about revenge, they picture fury, shattered mirrors, dramatic speeches. Mine grew out of exhaustion. I didn't want to scream anymore. I wanted to show the truth so clearly that no one could ever twist it again. I spent the next week assembling everything I'd saved, clipped audio, draft exports, backup chats. Every piece told a story I'd been too scared to say out loud. I opened a new project file and titled it Behind the Filter. Fitting, considering that's what Sienna and her little empire had always been, filters overwrought. At first, I shook the whole time I edited. Seeing my old excitement echo back through the clips was painful. There I was behind the camera, laughing, instructing, praising them. Then in later footage, my voice faded while Sienna's grew louder, taking credit line by line until I was just background noise. Between takes, she'd roll her eyes at me, whispering about dead weight. I didn't add commentary or slander, just facts. Screenshots of payments sent only to her, recordings from live streams where she called me an intern, the group chat where I begged for promised revenue while she texted, "You should be grateful we let you post with us at all." Each artifact layered truth like sediment pressing into clarity. I recorded a voiceover in one sitting. No dramatics, just honesty. My words came low and even, how I joined their team, what I contributed, what they took. I didn't demonize anyone, I simply stopped covering the wounds. There was more power in transparency than anger. I almost deleted the file 6 times that night. The fear of backlash chewed at me. What if people still didn't believe me? What if this made things worse? But somewhere inside all the trembling, a steadier part of me whispered, they already took your silence. Don't give them your story too. At dawn, eyes heavy, I hit upload. By noon, the notifications exploded so fast my phone froze. Thousands of views in minutes, then hundreds of thousands. Hashtag behind the filter trended before sunset. Comments poured in, we owe this girl an apology. Finally, receipts, protect Lily. Some fans who'd attacked me started deleting old comments. Even verified creators stitched the video, calling it a masterclass in calm revenge. Sienna's group went on private within hours. Brands that had plastered their faces all over sponsored posts quietly deleted the ads. Screenshots of emails leaked, contracts abruptly terminated. Watching it unfold felt surreal, like the world had flipped forward and backward at once. My classmates treated me differently the next morning, some awkward, some contrite. You really did edit all that? One asked, like it was breaking news. I smiled politely and said yes, resisting the urge to add I always did. You just believed the louder voices. The view count hit 1 million by night. Instead of celebrating, I sat quietly at my desk feeling weightless, not triumphant. It wasn't destruction I'd wanted, only vindication. When people thanked me for taking them down, I didn't reply. I hadn't taken anyone down, I'd just stopped letting them stand on top of me. For the first time in months, the silence around me didn't feel lonely. It felt earned. The morning after my video went viral, the world split in two. Half the internet raised me up like a symbol of honesty. The other half tried to tear me down. My notifications were a battlefield, supportive strangers beside trolls calling me manipulative, attention-hungry, or worse. Every sound from my phone made me flinch. What had started as justice now felt like standing naked before millions of judges I'd never met. Sienna's fans were relentless. They accused me of hacking footage, editing audio to frame her, faking timestamps. They dug through old pictures, mocking my clothes, my voice, my face. Some of the comments were so cruel that I began turning my screen face down just to breathe. Yet in the same feed, others lifted me up, industry people praising my editing, classmates apologizing publicly. The whiplash made me dizzy. Within days, the story reached local news. Headline, teen editor exposes influencer trio. Mom's phone buzzed nonstop with relatives wanting gossip. Teachers whispered in corners. The principal called me in for a meeting, all polite seriousness. Lily, he said, hands folded, we respect your talent, but the media attention is affecting the school's reputation. I nodded silently, wondering how honesty could be such a liability. At home, Dad paced the living room like it was a crime scene. We just don't want you ruined over this, he kept repeating. I said I was finally telling the truth, but even as I said it, my throat burned. The night after the news broke, Noah messaged me. His name flashing on my screen made my hands shake. I'm sorry, he wrote. You were right. We all knew what she was doing. I just didn't have the guts to stop it. For a while, I stared at those words, half wanting to hate him, half relieved someone else finally finally said it. We talked for hours. He admitted he'd been scared of being excluded, of losing the fame they'd built. I understood too well. Fear ruled me too, I typed back. That's how she kept control. We all just wanted to belong. For the first time, I stopped crying from anger and started crying from release. The weight of pretending I didn't care finally slipped off. I didn't feel heroic or powerful. I just felt human again, shaken, exposed, exhausted. By the end of the week, the chaos still hadn't died down, but something within me had. I realized validation from strangers couldn't heal me. Only my own forgiveness could. What began as revenge had somehow become therapy through fire, and I was just beginning to crawl out of the flames. After 2 straight weeks of chaos, I did the most radical thing imaginable for someone who lived online. I logged out. No goodbye posts, no announcements. I just closed every app and didn't open them again. The world inside my phone buzzed on without me, and at first the silence felt terrifying, like stepping off a moving walkway. Then it started to feel like oxygen. The first morning I woke up without checking notifications was weirdly quiet. I made breakfast, listened to the sizzle of eggs instead of pings. For the first time in forever, I wasn't measuring the day by engagement metrics. I was just here, hours stretched open, slow and uncurated. I found my camera shoved under a pile of notebooks. When I powered it on, the lens still had dust from our old shoots. Holding it, I felt something ache and then warm, like meeting a friend I'd ghosted. I started filming again, but differently. No drones, no filters, no sparkly transitions, just small, honest clips. Streetlights flickering late at night, my cat blinking in sunlight, my own nervous laughter. Editing those moments reminded me why I'd fallen in love with filmmaking to begin with. There was beauty in imperfection. My new channel under my real name, just Lily was simple. Stories about social media, how it tricks you into confusing relevance for self-worth, how envy wears lipstick and smiles for the camera. At first, only a handful of people watched, but their comments were genuine. This feels real. Thank you for saying what I couldn't put into words. I didn't chase trending sounds or hashtags. I filmed whatever made me feel alive. Slowly, subscribers trickled in, not because I fit somewhere glamorous, but because they saw truth in the mess. For the first time, I wasn't afraid of being small. I was afraid of losing sincerity again. My parents noticed the difference. Mom stopped flinching every time my phone buzzed. Dad started asking about my projects with pride instead of worry. Even sleep returned, deep, quiet, healing sleep I hadn't felt since before Sienna's world swallowed me. One evening, watching my new upload premiere, I realized how much I'd changed. Fame had taught me noise, loss had taught me peace. What mattered wasn't how many people saw me, but how clearly I could see myself. And for the first time, I did. A few months later, everything finally settled, not perfectly, but peacefully. My new channel kept growing in its quiet, steady way. No viral spikes, no scandals, just slow, genuine connection. Each video was like a conversation instead of a performance. I'd wake up to thoughtful comments instead of chaos. People telling me they felt seen, that they'd been used by friends too, that my honesty helped them reclaim their own voice. That was worth more than any sponsorship could ever pay. Somewhere along the way, Sienna's crew disappeared from the spotlight. Their content turned sporadic, comment sections turned sour. Rumors spread about brand deals collapsing, fans migrating elsewhere. I didn't celebrate it, it just felt inevitable, like gravity balancing what fame had warped. Once the filters cracked, reality always seeped through. One evening, after filming a short essay about digital burnout, I got a DM. It was from Sienna. Just her name on the screen made my stomach twinge. The message read, "Hey, long time, I saw your new videos. I want you to know I never meant to hurt you. I was just lost in it all." I stared at it for a long time. There was a time I would have written paragraphs back, anger, logic, closure, but I didn't need any of that anymore. I typed 4 words, "You taught me well." Then after a breath, I added, "Real success costs nothing that matters." I hit send, felt my hands shake, then relaxed. There was no triumph, no bitterness, just release. Later that night, I filmed a quiet monologue for my followers. No edits, no music, just me in soft lamplight. I talked about what it meant to be seen, how easy it is to mistake attention for affection, and how chasing validation almost erased who I was. "If you ever feel like you're nobody," I said, looking straight into the lens, "remember, being invisible on your own terms beats being famous for someone else's story." After I uploaded it, I didn't check numbers. I just watched the final frame, me laughing softly before the fade out. That look, unposed, unfiltered, was worth every bruise of the past year. Fame can vanish in an algorithmic heartbeat, but self-respect, when you finally earn it, doesn't need views to survive. And that's the ending I never thought I'd get, the kind without applause but full of peace.